because of the emotional, sentimental statement that was, or if you will, submission that was made by Mr. Kwesi Pratt on the morning show. I have never done this before, but I think yesterday I was blown away, by that succinct delivery relative to the politics of now and how he sought to explain why people ought to be principled. I felt it. I really felt it. And many other people in this country felt it. Because after the show, we received numerous calls about, how that you at this material moment who are very so passionate about the development of the young Ghanaian, particularly within our body politic, and that is all what we are looking for. Because if you don't have people to speak for you or to bring the issues to the fore, for us to have a broader conversation about the things that will augur well for the development, then what are we doing? So if you have these people who are speaking truth to power and who are at all material times speaking the mind of the Ghanaian people, then I think that we must continuously sing their praises. And that's precisely what I'm doing here this morning. Maybe you've seen is also one of such people. And all the numerous, other political actors and players that we get on the morning show. They really sometimes wow me, and I get very emotional at times. Particularly when I was listening to, oftentimes when I used to listen to Edgar Redu, for instance. I mean, he oftentimes asks a very fundamental question that in the next, do you envisage how Ghana would be in the next 10 to 15 years? Then I'm sitting down, lost in myself, trying to figure out where Ghana would be in the next 15 years because there's no plan. There's no national development plan. There's nothing, absolutely nothing. So it must not be lost on us that even as we have these people here gracing the morning show and telling and sharing their experiences with us, we also do reserve some responsibility without more to ensure that we contribute significantly and materially to the survival of our democracy and to the survival of our political experiment in this particular country. So thank you very kindly, guys, for always inspiring the generation and the next generation and posterity. We're grateful to you as always. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. This morning, we're going to be touching on an African story. France urged to intervene in Ouattara's third term bid, Daily Graphic newspaper. And I'm sure you're wondering why France has been urged to intervene. You know that France has its long hands within the affairs of, within the political affairs in Ivory Coast. And I think it's about time that we dealt with these Westerners who feel that they still have some residual powers in Africa. We have to get into that particular story and deal with it. Alleged misuse of state funds. ASEPA drags President and Finance Minister to Shraj. The Inside Newspaper reported this particular story on its front page. A Japan deal is clean. Finance Minister insists a delivery tracker mess. MMDC is to be fired for misleading Dr. Baumia. The Inquisitor reported this particular story. Hundreds desert homes after soldiers stormed Dome Farsi and retrieved weapons. Daily Analyst reported the particular story. I don't know whether that operation was a legal one, because I don't condone military people using their position as military men to terrorize anybody. What the people did was wrong, but we cannot also add on to another wrong with our own wrongdoing. So maybe, I mean, these panelists will try and dissect the issues for it. But for now, these are the topics that we've tabled for our conversation. I want to encourage all of you to share with us what your thoughts are via our WhatsApp and text number, which is 026084 6539 02084 6539. And we're also streaming live on Facebook, facebook.com/Pan-African Television. So I want to implore all of you to go out there and share with us what your thoughts are. I'll be more than willing and excited to read your messages out here for you on the show. I've spoken enough. I think it's about time to get into the studio and listen to our panelists. Bernard, let me quickly start with you on the African story. Issues relative to Ivory Coast. The fact that Alassane Ouattara is bidding for his third term. And you know, yesterday, a very interesting development occasioned relative to the political practices in Ivory Coast, where, you know, Gbagbo has been barred from competing or contesting in any elections. Now, juxtaposing that decision, because it's been cleared by the International Court of Tribunal. And so one would have thought that he would be given the opportunity to come back to Ivory Coast and contribute his quota to the development of that country. But it appears that, you know, Ouattara and his team have different agendas and things like that. Now, let's look at this. He's bidding for his third term. People are complaining about it. He's still insistent on that, barring other people from competing against him. You know, most of his friends have been barred from competing. What do you make of this new development in Ivory Coast? Bernard.
Greetings to Sabo, and I am told that the newly and freshly elected national organizer of the Convention People's Party will take the place of Alhaji ABF Husseini today. It is my hope and prayer that in taking the seat of Alhaji ABF Husseini, that he will
discharge his obligations
in terms of African proverbs and speak the English the Dagbani way, so that
and mention Kwame as many times as possible.
Many times as possible.
And most importantly, mention as many Kwame as many times as possible.
So much that no, he doesn't say Kwame, he says Kwame.
Honorable, good morning.
and then when I finish the show, you see people sending me messages that they like the way ABM mentions Kwame. So let me congratulate my kid brother Yirimambo Moses for the emphatic victory he chalked. It's been a victory that came as a result of hard work. I know the enormous work that he put in the struggle. And I also know that being the poor boy that he is, it came with a lot of challenges, because the finances to be able to move from one end to the other was a huge challenge. But you see,
I contributed.
There is something that one of my brother's wives told me, that if God puts something in your hand, no matter the force that is applied to remove it, it's not possible. You will certainly grab what is yours. So I congratulate you.
Remember, you are free. Now he's taking the seat of ABF Husseini with Proverbs, so you are free.
I want to urge him, and probably I will do so to the new executives that I elected, that Nkrumah's unity should not be taken lightly. I have traversed, and I'm sure that in the course of your campaigns, you get to many places and our people ask, when are you united? We can't continue to be in the diaspora. We must come home. And so it is important that we look at the Nkrumah's unity and to see how we can form a bigger force. I have said this many times. My friends in the APC and PPP don't agree with me, but let me say it on your show, that the PPP must get back to the CPP. The APC must get back to the PNC. And then we can forge together, because you broke away from this. And I say this because history has a way of telling all of us a story. In the MPP, UGM broke away. They found a way to cleverly get back to the MPP. In the NDC, we had the National Reform Party, led by Guzi Tano. They have found themselves and their way back into the National Democratic Congress. They did not go to sit anywhere to do negotiations to say that, let's do this, let's do this. The DFP came out of the National Democratic Congress. You can see that the Obeda Samwa, the Bidzedian have all moved back to the NDC. So when people say go and talk unity, and they say go and sit down with APC, go and sit down with PPP, I think that they are not doing justice to what the convention has been in the past. And if that worked for the NDC and worked for the NPP, it is hoped that it should be the way. Otherwise, I have said this, otherwise, if we unite under any agreement, tomorrow, one person can also get up and say that I've broken away, and we'll go and sit at one corner and say, come and negotiate with me before we will reunite. And you will see that we'll continue to fragment.
It brings to mind, Bernard, briefly, but for the obliteration of the CPP, the name CPP, would we have had the emergence of PNC and the likes?
Well, note that the CPP was more or less ostracized from Ghana politics.
Yeah.
In the 69 elections, and the PNP came in 1979 and won the elections. And so you can say that PNP is the direct progeny of the CPP.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And since then, it appears that many people came to be accustomed to the PNP.
Absolutely.
And I say this, in 1992, the Nkrumah's front had many political parties, but the PNC stood tall because the name CPP was still banned. And so the PNC stood tall in 1992. The other political parties, the Heritage Party, the National Independent Party led by, what do we call this man? The man we call Akoko Dako. Kwame Dako. Yeah, you understand. And then all of them came, but the PNC stood tall because it was led by the President of the Third Republic, President Hillary Mann. Now, in 1996, only 3 people contested for presidency of this country. It was the PNC's Edward Mahama, MPP's John Kufuor, and NDC's Jerry Rawlings. That is the fact. So at that point, there was no Nkrumah's representation apart from the PNC. It was not until the year 2000 that the CPP came on board with Professor George Hagan as a presidential.
So they won the matter in court.
Yeah, they went to court, and the court said that there was no locus for the prescribing of the name CPP. And so they came and they had Professor George Hagan as president. And then, of course, 2004, they had Agude as a presidential candidate. 2008, they had Indum. And then in 2012, he also then broke out and to go and form the PPP. So if you take the history, then it meant that we could all either go for the PNP or the CPP. Whatever happened, that when the CPP was formed, they came with, was released, the name was released, they came with the name CPP and decided to run without concurring with the party that stood all this while.
In the stead of the CPP.
In the stead of the Nkrumahs. Let me not say the CPP. In the stead of the Nkrumahs, because the PNC stood the cause of the Nkrumahsism in this country. Whatever happened, I am not in the best of positions to be able to answer that question. But of course, these are the dynamics. And I think that we look at the back in order that we take a giant leap. So we should go back, take these pieces, and then as young people, we should be able to leap forward, because I think that is becoming one too many, that in the course of our campaigns, people will ask you, why are you not uniting? And then you have to be scratching your head. I don't think that it is fair. Anyway, it was to welcome Yirimambo and to wish him well in his position. And it is hope that we should be able to work together and to have common grounds. In some constituencies, we are already, Sabdai, for instance, we are cooperating heavily, that all the Nkrumah's political parties are backing Mr. Lamte to
absolutely.
That's beautiful. Lamte. Yeah, the CPP is backing, the PNC is backing, even GUM is backing. The PPP, all of us are backing one parliamentary candidate in the Sabdai constituency. And I hope that the experiment there should lead other constituencies to be able to do that. And once we are able to achieve some significance in terms of winning that seat, it should send a signal that in unity lies strength. And then we should advance the cause of the general unification of our family. Kwame, of course, to the people of Nadoli Kaleu, I want to salute them once again. There are many people whose names I cannot mention. But as I said last time, Sabo, many people are doing fantastic job in the constituency. People are contributing their own resources. They are putting up billboards and other things. Sometimes I get to the community and they have done it on their own. I just want to continue to thank those people who are doing such tremendous jobs in magnifying my presence in their various communities. I will continue to salute them. What we have today is that France has been urged to intervene in Ouattara's third-term bid in Ivory Coast. And who is saying that? It is the former Speaker of the House of Deputies, that they call it deputy, and that is Guillermo Soro. And if you know him, he led the crusade fighting then Laurent Gbagbo. Yeah, he fought Laurent Gbagbo so much that he was leading what they call the rebel group from the north, and they backed Alassane Ouattara to become president of Ivory Coast. Alassane Ouattara has been the destructive knob of Ivorian politics and Ivorian democracy. The beautiful Ivory Coast has been shredded and shattered because of one individual, Alassane Ouattara, positively or negatively. Today, Alassane Ouattara got the opportunity to become president of Ivory Coast. And it is expected that he, more than anyone else, will lead a path of renaissance, rejuvenation, and rebirth of Ivory Coast. What we are seeing is that he is decapitating Ivory Coast and wanting to see a perpetual finish of the once bountiful country. Why do I say this? Alassane Ouattara became prime minister under Houphouët-Boigny, the first president of Côte d'Ivoire. For several years, when Houphouët-Boigny died, his son, Konan Bédié, took over. In an election that will follow, they said Alassane Ouattara was of Burkinabe origin, and therefore he could not run for president of the Ivory Coast. That made the people incensed. It took them a tough fight, struggling to position themselves as to whether he can contest, because he is of Ivorian, a Burkinabe origin. And I'm saying that he is the one bottom that has dismantled Ivory Coast. In the course of this, it took Robert Gueye to come and topple this man, Konan Bédié. And when Konan Bédié was toppled, West Africa, Economic Community of West Africa, that is ECOWAS and ECOMOC, decided that they will not tolerate a military insurrection in any country within the sub-region. They got to Robert Gueye and asked him to quickly return the country to democracy. In the course of doing so, Robert Gueye decided to more or less ban Konan Bédié from contesting. He also banned Alassane Ouattara from contesting. And it was only Laurent Gbagbo, who in the past used to get less than 2% in Ivorian votes, was the only one that was to contest Robert Gueye. In the course of the campaigns, Konan Bédié urged his supporters to vote for Laurent Gbagbo. Alassane Ouattara, who was initially barred from contestation, which led to the overthrow of Konan Bédié, also urged his supporters to vote for Laurent Gbagbo. So it was like the two giants. Sorry, but let me use the NDC and NPP. Okay, deciding that because the military has taken and toppled one of the government and barred them from participating, the two of them will now decide that they will support, say, the PNC or the CPP candidate. And so, therefore, the force was so heavy for Robert Gueye to be able to win the elections. And therefore, Laurent Gbagbo, the civilian, won the elections against Robert Gueye. Even that he was hoping that the Constitutional Court, you know, in the Ivory Coast, when you finish the elections, the Electoral Commission will announce the results, but it needs to be validated by the Constitutional Court. He was hoping that the Constitutional Court will now have the opportunity to invalidate the general votes and say that he, Robert Goy, has won. It took pressure for him to acquiesce that Laurent Gbagbo has won the election. Of course, subsequently, he was killed in a very bizarre manner, circumstances under which we don't want to speak on air. What then followed was that Laurent Gbagbo was president and was trying to remold the country. France noticed that as a Pan-Africanist figure who was fighting for Côte d'Ivoire to own, you know that the presidency, the State House of Ivory Coast, they pay rent to France. State House, they pay rent to France. Water supply, they pay to France. Electricity, they pay to France. Even their radio station, RTI, they pay to France. So it's like everything in Ivory Coast is owned by France, and that you have to pay rent and royalties to France. So Laurent Gbagbo decided that he was going to more or less secure a liberation from France on these matters. That incensed France. They pushed and pushed that they should do an election. Again, Laurent Gbagbo acquiesced to the elections. Before the election could even start, they had packed that Ouattara was leading in the victory. The elections were done. The Electoral Commission was taken to go to a hotel, not the Electoral Commission headquarters, to go and declare Alassane Ouattara as president. In the course of that, the Constitutional Court did not have. France then compelled, what do we call it, Laurent Gbagbo, went and started bombarding him, beating him and his people, and eventually they picked him up from the State House. By the time they succeeded in doing that, most of the judges of the Constitutional Court had left the country. And where did they go? They ran into Ghana. So Alassane Ouattara was made president in a hotel, supported by Guillaume Soro and others. It took the proper negotiation of Ghana, because you are president, but the Constitutional Court cannot swear you in. They are not there. And they were in Ghana. They were scared of their lives. So the then president Atamils had to go in and negotiate with with Alassane Ouattara that the judges are scared of their lives and their safety. So Ghana government will take responsibility, convey the judges, because they had understanding with the judges, take them by flight. They will come to Côte d'Ivoire. They will swear you in, and soon after swearing, it says they don't want to be in Côte d'Ivoire, they come back. This deal was accepted. And that is how Alassane Ouattara was sworn in as president, and most of the judges, as we speak, they are in Ghana, because they still fear that there will be retributions in Côte d'Ivoire. You have done your 2 terms. You are a signatory to the ECOWAS protocols on good governance and democracy, where it is endorsed that each president should do 2 terms in office. You have done 2 terms. You went and selected Koulibaly to be the one to succeed you. Koulibaly died recently under mysterious circumstances, suspected to be poisoned. And that you, Alassane Ouattara, was not genuine in anointing him as your successor. So you found a way. These are the suspicions that are rampant in Côte d'Ivoire.
Particularly after his demise, you are not the intention.
Soon that the man died, you then somersault and come and say that you are contesting because the people are asking you to contest. So it means that you took the initiative to kill so that you can become president.
The man is over.
So 3, you want to do a 3rd term at a time when you yourself endorsed the ECOWAS protocols for 2 terms. Indeed, it was only the Gambia and Togo that did not endorse that pact. It was then led by Anna Tete, who was then the foreign minister for Ghana. So what we are envisaging is that, as I said, Alassane Ouattara is the destructive agent in Côte d'Ivoire. He wants to be the Alpha and Omega. He has plunged the country into the calamity that they want to overcome today. And now that they have a semblance of overcoming it, you say no. You went and pummeled Laurent Gbagbo in the State House. You did illegalities to become president. They took him to the International Court to charge him for war crime. The International Court has acquitted him.
Discharged him.
That he has not committed any offense. Even that you don't want him to come to Cote d'Ivoire. So you have more or less put him in asylum in Belgium. His supporters are urging him to come home and come and contest. In November, you go and urge your court to go and rule that he is barred from contesting elections. Under what basis? What crime did he commit? When you took him to the International Court, and the International Court acquitted him. Guillaume Soro, who used to be the next in command, has been banned. When he traveled, you sentenced him and said that he has looted money from one of the local branches of the central bank. A prime minister can just go to the local branch and go and say that fetch me money. How will he loot money when you have the governor of the central bank? These are the things that we do and we self-destruct. I am very disappointed in the loud silence of ECOWAS in matters of this nature. That Ivory Coast is a signatory to the two-term presidency cannot somersault and allow Alassane Ouattara to go a third term. There must be a loud voice and a resounding condemnation from all decent Democrats in West Africa, particularly all the heads of state, that what Ouattara is doing is inimical to the sustenance of democracy and good governance. Because this is happening. You think that if another government decide that, okay, since you have allowed it to sustain in Cote d'Ivoire, we can allow it to sustain in other countries. So they also will decide that, well, I'm amending the constitution. I have majority in parliament. Parliament amends the law and say that I can go for more than one term. You see the confusion that is going to occur.
Absolutely.
Because West Africa has been silent on a very vast issue of the third term issue. Now, what is even more worrying is that ECOWAS is almost silent on the happenings in Mali. The president, Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta, has been overthrown. I may not be a friend or a sympathizer to him, but he's been overthrown. You went to Burkina Faso to urge the military to bring back President Kafando when he was toppled. You went to the Gambia and forced Yahya Jammeh out because he has lost elections. In Mali, you are sitting as if you don't know what is happening. In Cote d'Ivoire, ECOWAS is doing as if you don't know what is happening. In Togo, you have done as if nothing has happened. Now, my worry is with Guillaume Soro's letter to France and to Emmanuel Macron, who is our kid brother, that we will continue to rely on France in the French-speaking West African countries for them to come and give us salvation is the reason for which countries that were colonized by France can never achieve the independence that they want to achieve.
And that's the reason why the unification
instead of calling for ECOWAS to speak the language that they spoke in Burkina Faso, they spoke in the Gambia. You are running to France to do what? It is the same France that ensured that Alassane Ouattara has come, and all the initiatives that Gbagbo was doing to ensure the self-determination of the people of Cote d'Ivoire, Ouattara has reneged on them and is giving France everything they want. You think France will come and say, no, we don't want such a character who is doing everything to further the interests of France?
That's a very good question. Thank you, Bernard Mona. Let me remind you again that you are watching the #1 newspaper review segment here. Well, Good Morning Africa, or morning show program in Africa. Good Morning Africa, live on Pan-African Television. Let me remind you again that the WhatsApp number is active, 026-084-6539. And we're streaming live on Facebook, facebook.com/Pan-African Television. Bernard definitely is well versed in the area of African politics, and he's dispassionately and eloquently delivered succinctly on this subject matter. Let me now come to you, Sabo. Sir.
Kwame, thank you. Let me take this opportunity to say good morning to our cherished viewers. Good morning to Palana. And then...
you have to speak to the community.
Yes, I forgot you said...
To go policy.
To policy.
Yes.
To policy, okay. Yes. And then yourself.
Thank you.
And then congratulate my brother on his election as the organizer of the CPP. I wanted to say Almighty, but I'll come to that.
National organizer.
Yes. Because to be frank with you, like Benamona said,
yeah.
CPP is supposed to be mightier than NDC if we are actually going to speak to the records. But I'll come to that. Oh, don't forget.
CPP should not even come in the political
who gave birth to CPP? Because I keep on telling you people this thing every day. You keep on going back that one. Yes.
I think that
you see how their bones are.
Yeah. Let's allow
when somebody wants.
I think it's just this is just.
He wants to
It's
a huge pollutant.
Don't worry. At least I need not to speak to the facts. Even today, as we speak, those who in primary schools and JHS know this history.
But it's corrupted history.
It's okay.
Go ahead.
And what are you doing? I'm not a patriotic citizen.
Yeah, we have been sure
that you said the record straight.
We have been talking.
Oh, forget.
Oh, let's allow Sabo to make it.
It's okay. Bernard.
Let's allow. You see, so you get opportunity to rebut. Let him make his point. Please, Sabo, go ahead.
Kwame, let me also.
The people who are listening now will go to work.
They won't. You'll watch on Facebook.
To formally, what do you call it, announce the funeral of the mother of our Greater Accra Regional Chairman, which is to be held tomorrow at Sege. Sege, but to be precise, Goy. The home time itself is Goy. I think I've been telling that I taught in Adan, and precisely that was the town that I taught for 4 good years. Okay. So I'm more or less like a native of that particular town, because actually they took very good care of me. We had a very harmonious lesson. So by the grace of God, inshallah, we'll be there tomorrow.
Okay.
And I wouldn't mind if you pass by.
Okay.
Inshallah. Kwame,
yes,
but let me just, the reason why I said CPP would have been mightier. Like, I like the angle Benamona
the African
yes, address the issue. No, not the African issue, the CPP, PNC.
Oh, yeah.
It's true. What he's saying is true. To be frank with you, if I'm not mistaken, in the 1979, 81 election. 79 is very good, thank you. See, I almost got it mixed up. In the 1979 election, if you observe when, what do you call it, what was it? It was an NPP. PNC, what was it? PNP. Thank you very much, Dr. Hilali Man. PNP. If you observe that time, on our side, Pauli, when he decided to break, to go to also form his party, that actually caused MPP in that particular election. Because if you look at Pauli's vote and that of Kwame Owusu's vote, definitely will have beaten Hilali Man. But just because they were united as at that time, although there was even some dissent, because there was still the reason of CPP there, but they were still united in a way. But today, as we speak, PNC, excuse me to say, with all due respect, it's a shadow of itself. As we speak today, CPP, I don't know, the fall of CPP, it just came because, like, in the first, second, even in the Third Republic, you had a member of parliament. Am I right? Samia.
Okay, that's now we had the Fourth Republic.
Even the Fourth Republic.
We had Indum. We had
thank you. You see,
and later you had Samia.
yes. So all of a sudden they withered. And Kwame, to be frank with you, the CPP sometimes they try to look on the side of MPP as the cause of their distance. In the first place, we don't belong to the same ideology. So there's no way we can actually cause any distance in your party. And if you observe today as we speak, go and look at the especially central region, western region groups of NDC. Trace their history. They are all former CPP. Listen, just mention a big man from central region, and I'll tell you that he was once a CPP member. So indeed, if you want to actually get united, like he was saying, but I believe like you should also bear in mind that when you come and sit on sets like this, you sell the party. You don't keep on selling other parties and want to grow. It can never work. It will never work. I can't imagine myself come to sit here to sell CPP or PNC when MPP is there.
Nobody has done otherwise.
Oh, don't Allah. Don't Allah. It is an open secret.
Somebody respectfully because of time. Let's it's
just an advice I am giving you.
Yeah, but because of time, let's yeah.
You'll be hitting the grounds.
For what he's saying. So if I come here and Kwame set a question that I should answer, I should go and say that France urged to intervene in Ouattara's case. The PNC is providing these policies for the people of Ghana. So I should not answer your question.
No, you should answer my question. But let's.
So it depends on the topic.
Yeah, I'm not.
So let's.
You are not allowing me
so
to.
Let's
come
to the African.
And
yeah.
Last week I made a protest, and I'm making it again today. I said that this is politics we are doing. I am the immediate past Greater Accra Regional Secretary, and said things are not small in politics. I mean, he's a chairman of a party. He's here. He's aware. So I think, with all due respect, anytime you are introducing me, you better mention
do it rightly.
My former position.
Okay.
I didn't get it easy.
Okay.
Yes.
Regional Secretary. Eh?
Neither did I lose it easy.
Greater Accra.
That was a close one.
Thank you very much. It was just 23 votes.
Yeah, very, very close.
Even that one, if people did not come.
Oh no! But that one, it would have been a landslide victory. Even that one, everybody's aware.
So they mafia you.
Oh, but that one, everybody's aware. After that one, you know me, I speak the truth. Even if it were me that they cheated, I'll tell them yes, there was a mafia work there. Because I'll die one day, and the truth will still come out.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So why should I sit on the truth?
So Sabo is the Greater Accra Secretary, former Greater Accra Secretary of the MPP.
That's right.
Right.
Thank you very much for that. Alasani Ouattara issue. Kwame, me, frankly speaking, let me start from the bottom. When Benamada was saying that the Koulibaly died in a mysterious death, and then even ended up by saying that it could even be that, he was poisoned so that he can come and then take power and the rest. And I started laughing. I said, you see, just oppose what he's saying to the death of Atamils. Who was the beneficiary? Who was so close to Atamils? It's not the same thing. It's just that the opposite. President killing vice, and vice also killing president. So you see, sometimes all these things, and of course, look, having said that, I'm not trying to be mischievous here. That and maybe for all you know, what he's saying is
I say it's rampant because I have.
For all you know, what he's saying is actually the truth.
Who are calling me to tell me that?
For all you know, what we were saying then, was the truth. But because we are doing politics, sometimes the facts are twisted. So if such this thing can be made, then I don't think we are wrong when we say that we still need some sort of this and facts surrounding the death of.
Should do the investigation.
Oh no, I don't know. When you are sitting on the whole thing, you went away, but you already don't want me to stop distracting me. Kwame, the second thing that I want to also talk about is that last I was asking of the constitutional position of Ivory Coast because I am ignorant about their constitutional distance. Because sometimes we may be speaking out of ignorance. Because just our next door, they sent to Togo. The way they are sent to the presidency and then stay is different from just Ghana here. So if you are going to interpret it with that of Ghana's constitution, then you'll be
but the number of years,
the facts wrong.
The number of years are not substantially different from that of Ghana. So for instance, you can't go beyond 2 terms.
This current
Togo
Togo
so the guy is going. No, this is about Ivory Coast.
I moved from Ivory Coast.
If you read the letter,
and
it's not acceptable for him to do 2 terms.
Yeah, to do 3 terms.
To do 3 terms.
If you allow me to flow, so that
asked the question, and I thought
I didn't ask a question. Okay. Saying that maybe there are some interpretations that we are not actually aware of. Having said that, I said it here again, that if indeed all these things are established and Alassane Ouattara is doing this, then I'll join Baramona to call for what he's actually asking for, that they should do everything possible to take him off. Not to be frank with you, so as to let peace prevail. But if there are issues that is actually also giving him the opportunity to do what he is doing, then I think we should be very careful the way we go about the issue. Don't forget, as we speak today, the country is deeply divided. Ivory Coast, I hope you are aware, because of what happened, it is still, that thing is still there. It's just an undercurrent fire that with a little distance, it will just explode. So we should be very careful the way we deal with this particular Cote d'Ivoire issue. It is not an issue that you can just come and say, Alassane Ouattara. No. It is beyond that. So that one too, I think there's a need for us to look at it. Then quite apart from that, we also need to find out what was the terms of reference in resolving that particular dispute of Alassane Ouattara becoming the president. You know, sometimes in trying to resolve a dispute, sometimes go beyond the constitution to come out with certain things that will make peace prevail. And then henceforth, it becomes a reference point in the future when anything of that sort happens again. So we also need to get to know what were the terms of reference in resolving that particular issue. Maybe that one to also help us to know whether indeed Alassane Ouattara is doing the wrong thing or is doing the right thing. Having said that again, of course, I believe that France, all of us here, most of these francophone countries, most of their constitutions and the rest, I need not to be told that most of them drew their inspirations from the French way of doing things and other things. So they will have a better understanding of even the constitution of Ivory Coast than we, those two in Ghana here on the Anglophone countries. And of course, if you look at the Francophone countries, I stand to be corrected. The last time I checked, all of them still have some kind of addition to France, allegiance to France. They are not totally independent like us. And yes, so and for that matter, I wouldn't say, though we can say they are a sovereign country, but they still have some kind of remote control they send in France.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Most of
the Francophone countries, yeah.
And even if you look at their currency, it's being supported by France.
Yeah, they pay taxes.
It is not like us. For us, it is us. Britain is not supported by France. Yes, no, even the currency, the strength of the currency and the rest. Yes, France actually.
Exactly. But because they pay taxes to France.
Yes.
And so that Cote d'Ivoire, for instance, the leading producers of cocoa in the world.
Yes,
and yet somehow they defer to France.
No, that is the point. No, but Kwame, also don't forget the other side of the coin. That as much as they are paying certain taxes to France, France also come in to also bail them anytime their currency is going down and the rest. They also inject.
Because they take more from them.
Exactly.
You take more and give them little.
Yes, no. I am only trying to paint the picture as it is. Yes, not actually trying to favor any side. So, having said that, then I think it is high time for the Francophone countries also. I don't know whether they have a league to also sit down and then take a second look at the way they go about things, especially with their relationship with France, and see how best they can forge the way forward. Quite apart from that, you also agree with me that this issue that is coming up in La Côte d'Ivoire and the issue in Mali, and you know they share border and other things. If care is not taken, and there's some kind of escalation or some kind of even violence, especially in La Côte d'Ivoire, it will not only remain in La Côte d'Ivoire. It may have the tendency of spreading to the immediate borders of Mali, or maybe even having people from Mali coming in through the northern part of La Côte d'Ivoire to join in the whole distance. Because, like he was saying, when Alassane Ouattara was banned, he was banned on ethnic line. I hope you're getting me. And for that matter, there are other people who do not even directly belong to his ethnic group, but they are also extracts of other countries who settled in La Côte d'Ivoire. All these people will see themselves as Alassane Ouattara. So if they do not come together to make sure that and defend for their rights, one day, when it is their turn to, the same thing will be said to them. So they need to set the record straight. So and for that matter, if you don't take care, when there's any spark of, and I was not surprised that the thing even started from the south. But look at the march from the north and the way and manner they came to sweep. It means that it was not just a particular group of people that they were looking at. There were other invisible people who also joined that they were not aware, together with France also supporting. Because you need not to tell me that France did not support Alassane Ouattara. But having said that, we need not to sit here and condemn the man outright, especially when there was an initial move to make his vice president succeed him until the death, the mysterious death of the vice president, which I will also be very grateful if they are able to conduct an investigation surrounding the death and then maybe come out with a decision. Just like the way I would have been very happy if finally they have conducted an investigation surrounding the death of former President Atta Mills and then give us a report on it. So that going forward, not for me and you like you were saying, but future generation, it will guide them to also know that once upon a time, this particular event ever happened in this country. And this is the way the leadership were able to go about it, to still have the country united in diversity. Because whether you like it or not, Kwame, you need not to tell me the kind of telepathy that's, I mean, it's between me and Benamona. But when people should just look at us on the surface or on this screen, the way we talk and the rest, people may think that after here, we don't normally even look at each other's faces. How do I get to me? But it's just that we are expressing our opinions. But that does not break us apart. Quite apart from that, you don't need to be my friend to work with me. I mean, for working as a country, the most important thing is that we should understand what is the basis and what principles are guiding those two bases. And I believe with that one, we can all forge ahead. Lastly, before I also, as a country, we should also just sit down. Like the way we've just come here to talking. La Côte d'Ivoire, if something is not done, and there is, I believe, the leadership of the country, together with the other neighboring countries, before even ECOWAS will come in, will also do something, I mean, to make sure that the tension in La Côte d'Ivoire calms down, and then the truth also prevails. Because at the end of the day, the remnants of it will also have a edition of it. Because like you were saying, when the judges took their bags, where did they go?
They came to Ghana.
They came to Ghana.
Thank you very much, Sabo Adams, and for this wonderful submission. Let's now go to the national organizer of the CPP, Yirimambo Moses Ambeng. Sir.
Yes,
Yirimambo Moses Ambeng. What Yirimambo wants, and Yirimambo wanted to be the national organizer, and Yirimambo
has gotten it.
Fantastic. Please, let's go.
The serious support of our comrades nationwide. Kwame, a very good morning to your cherished viewers.
I think you've not had the occasion to thank them.
A very good morning to your cherished viewers. A very good morning to all CDP comrades across the 16 regions. In fact, Kwame, my victory was an overwhelming victory. We won 14 out of 16 regions. So, in fact, I must salute all comrades, all regional executives, all constituency executives, for the overwhelming endorsement you gave your candidate, Yirimambo, which was the people's choice. I would like to say that I'm not going to betray your trust. No, we are expecting a lot from us, the new leadership. And I can tell you on authority that we have hit the ground running, and very soon, the CPP shall be great again. Surely, we will be great again. And Kwame, in fact, through the rounds, going to the regions, as my senior brother said, when you get to some of the constituencies, they pose the same questions to you. What do we do? What is happening to our brothers in the PNC? In Timon Kambu, that is the language they use. What are you waiting for? So, senior, in fact, this is something we all need to think about. And for me personally, growing up in the CPP at the tender age of 18, I was part of a group called Nkrumah Rising. And in that group, we were finding ways and means to unite the Nkrumah forces. We were just youthful guys trying to, find ways and means, because we understood from earlier, negotiations that were done, that sometimes They get to the meetings, almost everything is done. It is left with the symbol and the name. It becomes a problem. So we, the youth, were like, come on, this cannot be a stumbling block to us. It can't just be about the name or just be about the symbol. So we even thought about blending the two, where you had the coconuts together with the cockerel. We tried to change the name, but we also face a lot of blockages from the senior coverage. But moving forward, senior coverage, Mona, I know that this is something dear to my heart personally, and we'll do everything within our means to push this Nkrumah's unity thing. Because for me, I still see this as the shortest path to political power. Immediately that is done, I'm telling you, Kwame, what will happen in this country, people from all walks of life will join forces with these Nkrumah's forces, and I'm telling you, within a matter of few months, we'll take power or wrestle power from the new Patriotic Party. Yes, I have to change the word quickly. So, Kwame, in fact, once again, I salute the Congress Committee of the Convention People's Party. This is the first time we had a decentralized election. In fact, COVID has pushed the CPP to be very innovative. We had results coming from all 16 regional centers, plus one center at the national headquarters. So, all what I have to say is to thank the Congress Committee, the Interim Oversight Committee, our Council of Elders, and the teeming youth of the Convention People's Party who stood by me throughout the campaign and did everything possible to volunteer to campaign for me on their own till victory was assured last week Saturday. So, Kwame, moving on, I believe the stage has been set for us to do exploits. The CPP is a giant of Ghanaian politics. The CPP is a giant in African politics. And in global politics, you can't take the CPP out. So we just want to make the CPP great again. And that is our core mandate. So, Kwame, coming back to Ivory Coast, I believe my seniors here have tackled the topic very well. Senior has given us the historical background of how Ivorian politics has been. And for me, I can see clearly that Ivorians have seen the difference. Hitherto, we all had problem with the style of Gbagbo. But later did we know, after reading so much, that in fact he was one kind of a leader who wanted to liberate his people from the control of the French. But as it is, the French, whenever you try to do this, they'll come after you. And they did come after Gbagbo. And they succeeded in pushing him out. But I believe the good people of Ivory Coast, after seeing through all this, they realized that, come on, it's about time we, the Ivorians, also have control over our economy. Even here in Ghana, we all have issues that Ghanaians are not in control of the economy. But theirs is worse. And I believe every right-thinking Ivorian thinks that, no, it's about time we take control of our economy. And the only way to do that is to be able to remove the almighty France's hands from the country. And I believe that this is something that is, brewing up in Ivory Coast. That is why you see people opposing. They are still going on demonstration to ensure that Gbagbo is on the ticket. And these are things that I believe ECOWAS, as my seniors are saying, to take a look at. Because look, they are beating war drums. Right. Because the good people are saying that, come with me, we'll make sure Gbagbo is on the ballot. Right. We are not going to sleep and ensure Ouattara takes another term. Right. So moving forward, I believe ECOWAS, even Ghana should also, I know Ouattara is a good friend to our president, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo. And I believe that he can be a bastion of rule of law. He can talk to his brother and say, hey, my brother, please, be cautious, because our democracy in Africa is at stake.
Thank you very much, Remambo Moses Ambing.
That's right.
National organizer of the CPP, for your submission on this subject matter. Let me go for this quick commercial break. When I come back, it gets very exciting on the show, because we're now going to be touching on some domestic topics here. Now, I'm sure you are very much aware of the fact that ASEPA has petitioned Srach in respect of a certain financial relationship between KRL and the government of Ghana. Also, we're going to be touching on the issue relative to the delivery tracker, which, according to the Minister for Information, Kojo Ponkroma, some MMDCs misled them into thinking that they have some of the projects in those places they said they had, which they didn't, in fact, have. Japan deal is clean. Finance Minister opines and insists. We're going to be touching on all of these stories here. So please, don't flip your channel. It gets very, very interesting after this commercial break. Stay with us.
Breakfast good day, every day.
Nestle. Good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Breakfast good day, every day. Every day.
Nestle. Good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Back. Let me remind you again, if you just joined in the conversation, that the WhatsApp number is very, very much active. It's 0260846539, 0260846539. And we're also streaming live on Facebook, facebook.com/Pan-African Television. I am also on Facebook as Kwame Owusu Danso. So please look for me on Facebook. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram at Kwame Owusu Danso. And on Twitter, I am Kwame Owusu Danso. Try and follow me there. Now, the topics that I told you before the break that we're going to be getting into are: one, alleged misuse of state funds. ASEPA drags president and finance minister to charge. A depart deal is clean, says the finance minister. Delivery tracker is a mess. 100 desert homes after soldiers stormed Domifasi and retrieved weapons. These are the rest of the topics that we're going to try to deal with here. Now, I am kickstarting the conversation with Hiriman Bomosi Sambing on the topic of the alleged misuse of state funds. Wherefore, ASEPA has found it imperative to drag the president and the finance minister to charge. Let me immediately, without hesitation, read to you and for your attention that which was put forward by ASEPA to charge. Now, it starts from the front page of the Inside newspaper, but I think that the substantive matters are here on page 3 of the Inside newspaper. Now, that on the June 2016, well, there's some Debbie there. On June 2016, the American PR firm KRL was engaged by the I Am for Nana Foundation, headed by Ken Oforiatta, Ghana's current finance minister, to provide lobbying services to the MPP. 2, that among other services, KRL was contracted to support free and fair elections in Ghana in favor of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, herein referred to as the first respondent, advise the first respondent on communication strategies ahead of the elections, provide lobbying services with the U.S. government, donor communities, and the media, provide in-country support throughout the electoral process. You know what I'm following? 3, that after the elections and the first respondent assumed power, the arrangement with KRL was then regularized, providing same services at a cost. I don't know the cost because it doesn't appear to me that it's right. Maybe 53,000 or 53 million per annum, excluding other miscellaneous, to President Akufo-Addo and his party. That after the 2017 regularization of the above arrangement, payments were made to KRL for the same services directly from the office of the President Wing State Funds. KRL has in a statement denied the allegations. It claims its current work was a different contract with the Finance Ministry. It explains that it has been engaging stakeholders and media houses for the past 3 years and supporting the promotion of some government policies, including one district, one factory, including planting for food and jobs, and Ghana Beyond Aid. So these are all the initiatives, government initiatives, that have been directly supported, or if you will, promoted by KRL. This is a story originally published by The Insight on Wednesday, August 2020. Insight says how President Akufo-Addo used public funds, blah, blah, blah. Goes on and on and on. So ASEPA has petitioned SHRAJ. This story is still unfolding. The facts are still being told. So we are still adducing a lot of evidence to back the assertions that we're making relative to this matter. But what is clear is that there was a certain relationship that is between the I Am For Nana Foundation, which foundation's director is the current finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, and KRL, which KRL's purpose was to provide some services for I Am For Nana Foundation for and behalf of the MPP towards the 2016 election. So that's also quite palpable. Now, subsequently, the allegation has been made that after the 2016 elections, a certain regularization ensued, which is to mean that the agreement that was initially started with I Am For Nana Foundation had transmogrified to an agreement between KRL and the government of Ghana, for which reason payments were subsequently made to KRL from the coffers of the state or from the office of the president, right? And which has raised a lot of questions, because if you read the investigation that is being conducted by the Ministry of Justice in America, it presupposes that the arrangements that were made was with I Am For Nana Foundation, but subsequent payments were made from the office of the president to KRL, which is what has raised a lot of eyebrows, and which is why people are posing all of these provocative questions, in order that we can appreciate the issues further. So these are the matters. ASEPA finds it very expedient for SHRAJ to investigate into this matter, because they find something surreptitiously, they find that there's a certain surreptitious arrangement between government of Ghana and KRL for the benefit of KRL. Please, let's hear from you on the subject matter.
Well, Kwame, I'm telling you.
Because I'm sitting with the chief.
That's right, that's right. Well, I think prior to election 2016, we all saw how the MPP prepared for the elections. And they contacting a firm to help them with their lobbying and other things. I believe that, personally, I don't think it's a challenge. But moving forward, if you want to have further, engagement with them, then I believe that you should come clean and open the doors for all of us to see what is happening in there. If you contacted them in 2016 for them to help you with your lobbying and other things, fine. It's for the election purposes. And we all saw what they were able to do and ensure that they were very much prepared for the elections and they had victory on their side. If after 2016 you want to engage this firm again, maybe on other sectors of the economy, what do you have to do? They have to go through the process. So for me, my interest will be that if they were contacted for any other purpose, for state purposes, then we should see the evidence that yes, did they also tender in something that they wanted to help the state when it comes to maybe free SHS or whatever they did for the state. We want to see the evidence to that effect, because I'm saying that if they helped the NDC when they were in opposition, it was just natural that they would like to continue the relationship. But if you want to do that, you have to pass through the right channels. So my challenge here will be whether or not they use the right channels in ensuring, or they had a contact with the president, the office of the president. Because from the readings, I could see that there have been some exchanges were found from the office of the president to them. So we would like to see whether or not they tendered in for support to help the state with several issues, or maybe PR or anything. We want to know the facts. Because as it stands now, just from reading this, it is not clear to me whether or not the engagement of this firm with the government of Ghana was done legally, or whether it was done under shadow. We don't know for now.
I think what brought the camels back in respect of this matter is found, I think, in one of the paragraphs. I can't precisely tell you the paragraph, but
yes,
it says that there was a contract extension that was signed on February 27, 2017. The beneficiary into bracket MPP, and the purpose was supporting Nana. It remained the same.
Yeah, that was proud to they coming to power.
So there was a previous agreement that was signed between KRL and I Am for Nana Foundation.
Precisely.
Get that fact right.
Right. That was proud to
the 2016 election.
Precisely.
Which agreement was for the sole benefit
of the Nana Foundation,
providing communication services, donor funding services, and then lobbying. Right.
I'm talking about the aftermath.
The aftermath
after they came into power.
Yes. So that's why it tells you that. It tells you in this paragraph that a contract extension was signed on February 27, 2017. The beneficiary was MPP or is MPP, and the purpose was supporting Nana, right? It remained the same. The purpose of supporting Nana remained the same. It goes on to say that, but the payments were no longer made by a private entity, I Am for Nana Foundation. They were now made by the office of the president-elect for Ghana using public funds. And there's an exhibit attached to this particular claim. Yeah.
So the issue there is that the aftermath, they still had a contract with the MPP.
Absolutely.
But the payment was not done by the MPP.
Absolutely.
But it was done through states.
The payments has never been done by the MPP. Don't get it wrong. All payments have been done by I Am for Nana Foundation.
Precisely.
So take the MPP out. The purpose of that agreement was to benefit the MPP.
Precisely.
But the vehicle through which the agreement was reached was I Am for Nana Foundation. So which means that all payments were made by I Am for Nana Foundation,
which was
for the benefit of the MPP. No,
precisely.
So let's state the facts clearly as they are. Don't try to obfuscate the facts.
So the aftermath, how much concerned about the aftermath?
Yes.
Where they are in power now, and they still have a contract with I Am for Nana. Is that what we are saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now the issue here is that the payment was not done by that foundation.
Absolutely.
But the payment is now being done
through
the office of the president.
Yes.
Of course. Then this is a matter worth of investigation because we need to find out what is the linkage then between the office of the president and the foundation and the firm in question. So I believe that ASEPA, they have a case, because if that is the issue, then of course we are smelling a conflict of interest situation. We are saying that is it that this firm is doing the bid of the party, meanwhile it is we the taxpayer who is paying for their services. I believe these are questions that we need to ask.
Yeah, because if a foreign entity, by the laws of this nation, if a foreign entity is providing some services for the state, the services must go through Parliament.
Precisely.
Parliament must approve of that agreement before it becomes ratified.
But this is agreement not between the states.
Absolutely.
From what I've read,
no, I know, but so which is why it raises a lot of questions. That if whatever relationship that there exists between KRL and the government of Ghana don't go through Parliament, then on what basis was KRL performing its functions for and on behalf of the state? Precisely. Because per Article 181(5) of the Constitution clearly says that all international transactions must go through Parliament for parliamentary approval, right?
Yeah.
So if that was not done, then on what basis is the Ministry of Finance making payments to KRL for the purposes of executing a certain function, if you will, for the government of Ghana?
But I think the fact still remains. The firm in question doesn't have any contract with the government.
Absolutely.
It has a contract with Nana Foundation.
Absolutely.
So what we are proving is how come it is the state rather that is paying on behalf of Nana Foundation. So I think this is something that needs serious investigation. Because as it stands now, we cannot pop into it and find out what happened. But the issue is that it's seriously a matter which should be investigated. Because you can't contact a firm to do your bidding as a foundation, and the state behind the scenes or behind the door will be paying for the services. I believe it's something that cannot be tolerated at all. But Kwame, I believe that some of us have serious challenges. Because when you look at the profile of this firm and what they do, I believe there are equally good firms in Ghana who can really do this for the Nana Foundation. I don't know what really they were looking out for, because there are PR firms in Ghana which are that good that can seriously handle these issues for yes, that is a very good firm which can handle these issues for Nana Foundation. So sometimes, I don't know, is it because of my orientation where we believe in the local firm? I don't know whether maybe for them they feel that those firms had something extra that they wanted from them. But the fact still remains. If you want to do that genuinely. But to tell us, for us finding out today that it is the state or the office of the president that is making payments on behalf of the foundation, Kwame, it's a very worrying situation. And for me, as a person, I will follow this story keenly. because I want to find out what really will happen at stretch and what will be the argument being put forth.
Let me still stay with you before I move on to Mr. Sabo Adam. There's also one paragraph which is trying to expose the facts the more, right? Because, you know, obviously, on principle or in principle, if you are trying to investigate into a subject matter, you need to necessarily hear from both sides. And this is what I think the investigators did, right? So, I mean, KRL International LLC intimated in their response that, sorry, I'm looking for it, sorry. So it says that, okay, I know. I just saw it. I don't know why. Okay, so they said that, okay, so on June 28, 2017, KRL International and the government of Ghana, represented by the Ministry of Finance, entered into a new and different consultancy service contract. The exhibit has been attached to this particular statement, portion of the statement. On August 30th, 2017, KRL filed an amendment to clarify change in name of a KRL International LLC client, right? Suggesting that the replacement of I Am For Nana Foundation with the office of the President-elect of Ghana had never happened, okay? Without mentioning the February 27th, 2017 contract extension, KRL claimed that, quote, once President Akufo-Addo took office, a new agreement was consummated between KRL International LLC and the Government of Ghana, Ministry of Finance, on June 28, 2017. At this point in time, KRL said, right, the international agreement between KRL International LLC and I Am For Nana Foundation was terminated because the campaign effort no longer existed. There's also an exhibit attached to it. But here is what the investigators did relative to this particular statement that was meant, obviously, to exonerate, you know, themselves. The statement says that this was an obvious false statement, right? The only contract in force in April 2017 was between KRL and the office of the President-elect for Ghana. The agreement between KRL International and Ghana's Ministry of Finance would not be signed until 2 months later on June 28, 2017. So the expose is one that is directed at the immediate aftermath of the assumption of office of the president, which has to do with somewhere like June 2017 and things like that. And the fact that the agreement between KRL had been vehicled from 2017 to 2016 to 2017, early part of 2017, when the president was president-elect. And that KRL is trying to justify their relationship with the government of Ghana with a contract that was signed subsequent to their dealings with the president from 2017. I don't know if I'm making sense to you.
Well.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, what you're saying is that when Nana was president-elect, that is a very short window.
Absolutely.
So we are talking about from December 9th through to around January 6th.
Absolutely.
Okay. So the aftermath, you know, there was, through your readings, that the contract with the Nana Foundation was terminated.
Absolutely.
If it was terminated, that they entered into another contract with the ministry. So that is where my issue is. Did they really enter into a contract with the Ministry of Finance through the office of the president?
Yeah. I stand to be corrected here, but
because,
if they entered into a new agreement with the government of Ghana, because the Ministry of Finance represents the government of Ghana, then they should have necessarily gone to Parliament. I don't know if I'm wrong, but I know that all international transactions or agreements must go through Parliament.
Well, for now, we can't tell whether or not they did that kind of agreement with the Ministry of Finance. What we can seek further clearance is we have to find out from the ministry whether or not there was some kind of arrangement between them and this firm.
I'll leave you at that.
If that is done, then I think we can put the pieces
I'll leave you at
together.
that. Sabo,
then,
let me come to you.
Thank you, Kwame.
Yes, my boss.
I wanted to say that I didn't know anything about this story.
But I tried to read.
Yes, that's where I'm coming from. This until you engage him and through the exchanges, I think I have gotten a gist of it. And I side with him in most of his submissions. I don't have problems with what he has said earlier, except that, like he just concluded, that if there was an agreement between Is it
KRL International?
KRL International. They are financial engineers or what?
No, they are communication experts, lobbying, communication, experts.
So, but through your listener, I thought we were also talking of they actually assisting Nana in his campaign fund and other things.
Yeah, so donations, lobbying, communication. So it's like
okay. So they are not only into communication, but they are also into financial. That's why I asked whether they are financial engineers and all that. Okay.
Yeah. So
So they are in that particular regards. That's where
exactly.
So you can see clearly the engagement between you and then my brother Moses. You can see clearly that there were two different contracts that were actually transacted. The earlier one was between the NPP as a political party and the company.
I am for Nana Foundation and the company.
And the company, of course. I'm not.
So that we are clear.
No. So not NPP.
Absolutely,
Yes. So I'm for Nana Foundation and I quite remember Kano Furiata was the director of that fund. So you can see that it's a clear thing, a different thing altogether. So they did for Nana in that particular regards. And then I believe based on the history of their relationship, they realized that, then these people can be good at this particular thing now that we are in government. So it will better, we will continue with them. And like he was saying, if indeed the due process were followed, then I don't see why we should be sitting here even talking about it. But if indeed the due process were not followed, then I think those who have taken the matter to court are actually doing something good for the whole country. And I strongly believe with regards to the way I know the president and the way I know the finance minister, I don't think they will do, especially when it was the same company that aided them during their campaign. They know very well that, of course, they will be in the public domain. People are aware of that particular company. So if they are going to do something fictitious, they will have used the same company again, who are already tagged. How they are getting me?
Absolutely.
As aiders of them. They will have rather look for a different company altogether. So I don't see anything fishy in this particular deal. And I'm very happy too, the way and manner which group took the matter to
ASEPA.
I'm also very happy with the kind of bold step they've also taken. That they have not actually taken it to the public gallery or taken it to the streets, but have decided to go to the law court so that better interpretation of the whole situation will be done, and at least what they call it, value for money, will be earned. So Kwame, I don't want, you know me, if I don't know much about something, I don't actually trek on dangerous grounds. So for now, this is what I can say.
Until somebody says something that will require attention. All right.
Exactly.
Thank you. 026084653 is the WhatsApp number. Please join in the conversation. You can as well share with us what your thoughts are via Facebook page. I've seen that people are graciously watching the show on Facebook. Thank you very, 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 very much. But let me remind you that you shouldn't enjoy the morning show alone. Kindly share with your colleagues as well, so that they can also share with us what your thoughts are, what their thoughts are on the issues that we've tabled for our conversation. Let's now come to Bernard Ambataila Mona. Sir.
Kwame, President Akufo-Addo's tenure is getting too much embroiled with issues of misleading and issues of graft, starting from the contaminated 5 million liters burst oil that companies were formed which were not actually properly registered, and the thing more or less distributed in a granular style for the benefit of party faithfuls and financiers. To the Kelny GV contract that continues to smell in the face of the people of Ghana, to the Ameri deal, which would eventually lead to the axing of the then Minister for Energy, and for the fact that the President will come in an open state to say that he was misled in that transaction to what we describe as the unjustified, unmeritorious PDS scandal, which became more or less a family, friends, and girlfriends business. You can talk about the cruel transaction consultancy services that Osafo Mafu had engaged in, which would eventually lead to the proceed on leave by the Auditor General Dome Leveau. I need not talk about the Ajapa royalties and the stinking nature of it. Ajapa, I call it Ajapa. And you don't need to talk about the drones that were seen as a salvage of our medical deficit in this country. It is endless in terms of wanting to enumerate the kind of negatives that this government can be associated with. What we are seeing today and what ASEPA has petitioned the Commission on Human Rights is that a company, KRL, was contracted to do consultancy services to promote the image of Nana Akufo-Addo, do communications, more or less brand President Nana Akufo-Addo, and for people to go around to begin to say, I am for Nana. It is an image augmentation, so that once that became the slogan that every person is associated with, then it could lead to the re-election of President Nana Akufo-Addo as president. There is nothing wrong with a political party choosing to engage a PR firm to augment or to boost the sagging image of its presidential candidate. And Yirimambo and I would have thought that a local consultant would have the capacity to do so. But that is not a given. This one, if it was the I Am for Nana Foundation that was paying for, it doesn't matter whether they took an African consultancy, they took an American consultant, or they took an Asian consultant. They are the people to pay. What is worrying is the evidence as has been adduced in this page. This is page 3 of the Insight newspaper. And if you look at the page 3 of the Insight newspaper, you will notice that payments to KRL are not done by the I Am for Nana Foundation. They are done by the Office of the President. Now, the Office of the President is for the state of Ghana. So, therefore, what we should be advocating in a fair democracy is that if the Office of President can pay for these services, consultancy services for Nana Akufo-Addo, then they should pay for similar services for all the presidential candidates that will come up. You cannot use state money for the benefit of an individual and a political party. And these things are being paid by the state, the Office of the President. And who is the head of the I Am for Nana Foundation? It is Ken Ofori-Atta, the finance minister. On the basis of the documents available to ASEPA, ASEPA then decided, that's Mensa Thompson, decided that this amount to conflict of interest, usurpation of state resources for private gain, which is corruption, and abuse of office. You can continue to add to the list. So they then chose that we will go to Shraj and let Shraj declare that the president's actions are in ultra virus with the rules and norms of governance in our nation. And so Asabo will say, it is a good step and initiative by ASEPA. It is my hope and contention that Shraj will not say that because they are a state institution, they will, as usual, write reports that will be so ambiguous, as was in the case of the Minister for Finance, and you remember the bond issue that they did, where in one breath they accuses the minister of not doing the right thing, and in another breath saying that the minister did the right thing. So such nebulous reports or investigations will not help the cause of our democracy. So yes, I am scandalized by the high level of thievery. I don't call it corruption. High level of thievery that is associated with President Nana Akufo-Addo and the MPP since they assumed office. And if this is proven to be the case, I think that it is nasty for our democracy. It is nasty for our future governance, and it is not healthy at all. I mean, the evidence that have been adduced here, money is being paid directly from the office of the president, is sickening.
Blair Amitia Faustine says the 2 terms of presidency agreement in Cote d'Ivoire was enacted in 2016 and not 2010, which means that the first term wasn't counted. So 2015 was first term, so he's eligible to stand for 2020. That is his last and final term. That is why ECOWAS and the Western countries are mute.
I disagree with that position. There is a 2-term presidency. No, the 2-term presidency was in place. The fact that you came and you are president. You remember President Macky Sall? When he came into office, they had 7 years. No, listen to me. Yeah. President Macky Sall.
I think this guy is from Ivory Coast, actually.
No, listen to me. President Macky Sall came into office when, at the time he came to office, Abdoulaye Wade had just lost the elections. You understand? And Abdoulaye Wade used the same argument to go into an elections. And he came, he said, look, 7 years as a president was too much. So they reduced it to 5 years. And when they reduced it to 5 years, it meant that they have started from a new slate. He said, no, it starts with the year that he became president. And so he is the first time he became president and the amendment of the law does not mean that his presidency is starting after the law.
Okay. But in this all right. Yeah, this is what the guy is saying. I think the guy is from Ivory Coast. So he said the case of Cote d'Ivoire is very different from what you panelists are discussing.
Exactly.
Else Emmanuel Macron will not call Alassane Ouattara and congratulate him. He is on course. That's what he's saying.
Alassane Ouattara. They are congratulating.
Manuel Tattoo says that's his opinion, Bernard. Let's he's entitled to it. I think he's entitled. Bernard, I think he's entitled to his opinion. Host, tell the MPP man that if the death of Atamios is their trouble, let him answer these questions. The death of JB Dankwa, thievery of PDS and Ajapa, thievery of oil at all. Anyway, Dasa Thomas says, please, what is the meaning of misled? Danladi Anaji says, yes, Ouattara is on course as long as he's a stooge of the French and Paris, and you are those who are supporting this anti-democratic practice. You, those who are supporting this anti-democratic practice, are part of the problem. I think he's also sending us from Cote d'Ivoire. Nuruddin Skydom says, good morning to you, KOD. I think we need drones that fly common sense to the Jubilee.
Don't worry, you have
Gabriel Kumalbio says they have already lost the election. JM is coming back like a car, but please don't use God in this case. He cannot save Akufo-Addo. Clifford Asamani says Akufo-Addo left Accra yesterday with 50-car convoy to Qatar to commission a 12-unit classroom. John Mahama commissioned a 36-unit classroom in 2016 among other activities in the same school. The difference is clear. Rescue mission activated. Ibrahim Washar says, KOD, we are not in a democratic rule. We are in a rule of 419. Being ruled by, look, you see, there's something that I hate, and I don't want us to do that. I don't encourage such things. You don't use certain descriptions for the President of the Republic of Ghana. You may disagree with him. So disagree with him based on the things that he's done. Don't attack his person. I don't like that. Especially people also call former President Mahama as incompetent. I hate it with passion. I hate that with passion. What has he done that you disagree with? And that's why I like Sabo. You understand what I'm trying to say? No, someone has never described Mahama as incompetent on this show before, ever. You don't do that.
Kwame, I have a problem with your taste.
No, that's your opinion. It's fine. It's fine. But on this particular, because you see, we are trying to shape the political discourse,
exactly.
And we must do so with respect.
But you don't have to.
Why do you describe the president with some? It's not right, Charlie. Let's not do this because of politics. You want to describe the president. I'm saying this because I want people to stop as like a con artist. I mean, how do you do that? You don't do that.
Because of that, you like Sabo.
No, I mean, let's not encourage these things. So it's not good. Because if somebody says that about you, I'll be very upset.
No, and because of all that you said, you like Sabo.
I'm saying that I like Sabo because he disagrees with the NDC, but he doesn't go attacking the person of. Come on, I won't read it. So just state your facts. This, that you disagree with. Based on that, you are voting at Nanado. Simple. This, that you don't like it. Based on that, you are not voting for JM. Simple. Let's not describe people with adjectives and things like that. It's not right. Bernard.
If you want to attack your
viewers
for using terms like incompetent and others, those you are urging them not to use the words on have been the very perpetrators of those.
It must end at some point, Bernard.
Is it not Vice President Baumia?
It must end at some point.
Who latches us every opportunity
I get it. I get it.
President
I get it. But we need to bring some sanity into our politics.
So if you have students of Baumia, what do you expect them to do?
That's the whole point. That's the whole point I'm making. So that we don't have to encourage that.
What I'm saying is that don't just point at those who are making the messages. They are simply learning from the vulgarity that our elders and seniors
I get it, but you are sitting here, Bernard. You have a lot of respect. People respect you a lot. I think you can also equally use a platform to advise people not to be using such words on people who are in a position of power.
Right on this, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Because if you observe me, I don't normally like these kind of things.
It's not good.
But sometimes when you try to justify it, then you also try to bring. I mean, no. Let me come. If you say Bawumia, even in your distant cry, you did not even say Vice President or even Dr. Bawumia. You just said Bawumia, but that's fair. That is his name, Bawumia. So let me also so that I can cover you. No, it's okay. It's okay. When you were talking, I was just quite listening to you. Why can't you learn from me?
People like titleism too much.
Listen, no. It's not. I have never sat here to call President Muhammad John Dramani Muhammad.
But you have always called me.
But I've never agreed with him on any of this.
Call me Bernard.
Are not my brother?
Am I not your chief?
Hey, now the matter support. The matter support. But Kwame. But do you understand me?
No, I do too. Yeah. I just came in because of what Bernard said earlier on. You see, in all fairness, what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia said then, and then brought in the incompetence, was the chronicle of things that were supposed to be done by the then president,
and Google the greatest liar
that he did not do. Are you getting me? And then for that matter, to conclude on those things. To conclude on those things. Oh no, but that is another.
That is Google.
No. That is.
Let's proceed because
no. Let's come. Even the lie. Me, I have been observing and I've been seeing how people have been going about this. Even calling the vice president a liar. I mean, it's also, of course, very abusive in our African distance. Like there's
somebody here.
I can sit here and call John Dramani Mahama the biggest liar. I mean, something of that sort. But in the end, will it actually bring any vote? To my distance?
Pastor Daniel Kaku. Hold on. Pastor Daniel Kaku appears to disagree with me on the subject matter. He's texting us from Sierra Leone. He said, "Good work, Bernard. Greetings to you, Chairman Bernard." So why are NPP people attacking personalities? That's what he's saying. But I'm saying that it's not right. I don't know if I'm making... It's not right. Let's not encourage that. Let's not encourage that.
I can just sit here and say those nasty things and go home free.
Bernard is saying I should Google the greatest liar in Ghana. Absolutely. You see, we are trying to build.
I can do it.
Yeah.
Even what is given.
Even at the Gombes, I said
the impetors.
The audacity to even.
Can you imagine? When those people, the kids who are writing the essays,
they had the audacity.
The audacity to insult the president. Are you serious?
So this has to end at
it has to end at some point, and we need to build it.
Go to them and give them food and tell them that they should be compared to say four more for another.
That is true.
Yes, if you go and do that.
So let's condemn it all. Let's condemn everything.
Then you don't do 4 more for another.
You won't get food. We will condemn it all. We will condemn it.
Nobody is telling you. Nobody is forcing you not to do it. If you want to do, go ahead and do it.
I have not done it.
Let me stay with you, Bernard
You know
Bonner.
that I have not done it, and I will not do it.
Bernard, let me stay with you. Let me stay with you.
I'm just telling you.
Hold on, there's no justification here.
Other people to do it.
Gentlemen.
We should tell our elders in the face. We should tell our elders in the face, those who are leading us, that they are setting very bad examples, and that people are listening to them. People are monitoring them.
This issue came out.
Talk to me.
Can you say it for sure that the president was aware of what happened? That the president sanctioned the people putting his posters on the list and giving to the children? But why didn't it happen across the length and breadth of this country? Why didn't it happen in Accra here? Why is it that it happened at a particular place and you want to put it on the
This was just an unaware president.
What is this?
This is just
his office cannot.
You see,
But what happens in the NDC, the last of John Draman Mama is not aware of it.
I don't know why
you
when you are here, you remember
things
in PNC, and you continuously refer to NDC. This is to undermine our presence here.
Listen.
No, you have to stop this what you are doing.
I am very good.
You have to stop.
I like what you are
I am
saying.
not representing the NDC. You remember I think that's a fair comment. So if you have to make a comment, make it to those of us who are here. We have nothing to do with the NDC.
I think that's a fair comment.
That is why I told you.
Never.
That is why
I think that's a fair comment.
I think in my this I said earlier.
But we cannot be here, and you will be promoting NDC and come and tell me that we come on show and we
if you decide to always come on air to promote NDC, if I'm addressing you, who do you want to address? It's not NDC.
I think they've not nobody has promoted here. Sabo, okay, all right. Let's proceed. Let's proceed. Gentlemen, let's proceed.
So when we
let's proceed. Hold on. Listen, quick commercial break. Quick commercial break. Quick commercial breek. Quick commercial break. Let's go for a commercial break.
Breakfast a day, every day.
Nestle. Good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Breakfast a day, every day.
Nestle. Good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Apologies to you for the little noise on the show. We apologize. We don't usually do that. Yeah, we don't usually do that. Bernard, let me start with you again on the next topic, which has to do with hundreds desert homes after soldiers stormed Domifasi and retrieved weapons. Let's hear from you, sir.
I think that is one of the major negatives in our new democracy, that because 2 soldiers were said to have been beaten, you see a battalion of military men go and take over an entire community and unleash the venom of pythons on citizens. And yesterday when I was listening to some news on one of the TV channels. I was sad, and I think that the young lady just fell short of saying that. She said that if they came in and there was no man in there, and she couldn't say, you can think about what it meant. She had to pause. And that they will do everything and anything to you. So our soldiers went, to my view, they went to the community, decided to hunt for the men that they think were the trouble or troubleshooters, beat them. But if they found a lady in a room and there was no man around, God saves you. You could be subjected to other things beyond the purpose for which they were there. It was very,
nauseating.
Yeah, I mean, I felt cold when the young lady paused at that point, because it was like she couldn't say it. Either she is a victim or somebody close to her is a victim of this nastiness of our military. It is important to condemn civilian attack on security. Absolutely. It is important to condemn civilian attack on the military.
Absolutely.
In particular, when they are announcing that they are of the military, and you still go ahead to attack them. I condemn the attack on the military, particularly when the military had indicated that they were not civilians and that they were there as military officers. And you go ahead to do the kind of attack that you have done to them. So you can also understand the military's attack on the community, particularly if you take Major Mahama's incident in, what's the name of the town? This town, Dentre Obuasi.
Yes.
Dentre Obuasi.
Yes.
Where Major Mahama
was murdered.
Where he was even shouting that he is a soldier. He's a soldier. He had a rifle and what have you. And he was brutally stoned and beaten. You understand? Clubbed to death. If the soldiers reflect on those things and they see that their colleagues went through a near lynching or murder, they wouldn't take it kindly. They will come out in the manner they came. But of course, when you got to the community and things were getting normalized, why do you have to continue to the extent that you went? So much that the chief of Obum decided that everybody had fled. He himself took off. He himself took off. He was going. And this time you will not know that he was a chief. He was dressed in something we call nika in Ghana. You understand? And was on his way. It took the TV station to meet him to find out, and he said he was the chief. And he called for the immediate withdrawal of the military and the subsequent investigations into the matter. And that if there are issues of land ownership, it should not take the kind of brutalization that took place in the town. I am happy that at the end of the day, they have withdrawn from the community. It will serve both sides a lesson that don't take these people. They have labored to join the military.
True.
You understand? They've gone through some difficulties. Their conditions of service are one of the nastiest that you can find. Kwame, I have always associated myself with the security agencies in this country. And they have sometimes made legitimate and passionate complaints.
Absolutely.
Sabu, are you aware that when you are what we call an officer, you retire on your income?
Pardon?
You retire on your income. You retire on your income. But the other ranks, who does all the donkey job, when they retire, they go home with nothing. And some of them, by military rule, they retire before the age of 60. They are actually young persons who retire.
But it's contract. It's normally contract.
You understand? So you retire before you get to 60. And so if you are to live for 80, 90, 100 years, all that while, you have no benefit to yourself and to your society. They are crying. They are suffering. And they need somebody to speak to their issues. Unfortunately, given the kind of rigid regulations, there's nobody to speak for their concerns. They are frustrated. They are bitter whilst they are in the service. So if you also decide now to bring your trouble to their kingdom, you see how they will deal with you. Because the frustration that they are unable to air is boiling in them. And that is how come that when there is something like this that could be resolved in an amicable manner, they will come there with the force, the magnitude of the force will be so devastating that it becomes unbearable to all of us. Every chief, every person in the Dome Efasi area had to flee for their lives. Every young person fled. They entered rooms. They did things unimaginable to women. And today, they are out. I just want to make a passionate appeal that let us not allow our country to degenerate into a lawless society where we will now live in a jungle. If we ever get into that, we are not all safe. I have said this many times. You remember, take you. If President Akufo-Addo suffers military takeover today, don't think that the opposition is safe.
True.
They go around searching for everybody.
Political leader. Yeah.
So all of us will have to flee.
That's right.
And probably regroup later. And in fleeing, you don't carry anything. Kwame, I will leave my stuff and run away.
Oh, this stuff, they're like, I'll come and take it.
That is if you are not, you will not be the first to leave before me. You understand? You will run and leave everything and run away. Because you have to save yourself before you can come and think about, you know, as they say, he who runs will live to fight another day. So that is what many people will do.
I told you, he's wearing the cup of ABA.
And so it is important that we look at this thing and sympathize with our community members who suffered the unjust brutalities of the military, and also to urge that let the state take interest in ensuring that such things do not occur.
Okay.
Finally, I want to reiterate that the military hierarchy, the security agencies, their hierarchy, must look into the conditions of service for the other ranks.
Yeah.
If you go to the barracks to see where they stay, go to prisons, and you see it's almost like a box room.
Police.
If you go to the police and see where they stay,
I'm from the barracks, I know.
if you go to the military, Burma camps, and you see where they stay, you will put your hand in your head and start shouting, Mbawe.
But for the single spine salary structure, nobody wants to join the police.
You understand? So it is important that we look at all these things so that we know that they are part and parcel of our existence, and that their existence is essential to the survival of our democracy. This is what I have to say this morning.
Thank you very much, Bernard. Let me now come to you, Mr. Honorable Sabo, and then I'll go to Yemambo and Yemambo. Yeah.
Yes, Kwame. In actual fact, when I saw this video, I was very much alarmed. To be frank with you, in no any uncertain time that should we allow this kind of instant justice in our society. When I was watching the video, it was what do you call it? Definitely that one there. In fact, unless of course we are not a human being, but what Maxwell Mahama's issue. For that came to my mind, and do you know why I would say that? What is the name of that town, Krano? Dancho Obuasi. To me today, in this particular regard, I will rate Dancho Obuasi people higher than these guys. Because you have a reference lesson to make.
To learn from.
No, to be frank with you, if you are going to put the two of them together, I'll rate them higher than these people. Quite apart from that, Kwame, what is even much more annoying, when you watch the video, there was this guy with a locally manufactured gun.
Yeah.
In fact, and even if you observe, when the military man was narrating and he came and passed in between them, the military man had to just save him, which means they've been beating them because the screen was there that he didn't do anything. He came and passed there and then was holding the gun. Another one too, the knife was showing.
Madness.
And you could see that most of them who were standing there were wearing traditional regalia, like some from the chief's palace or something of palace or even their war this thing. You see, so to frank with you, Kwame, these are them. And of course, to some extent too, I must also talk of people who normally impersonate, who normally wear military uniforms and other things, go and misbehave, and the rest. So you've gotten them. The people who are per the narrative, the people who are holding what do you call it, AK-47, because I know the military, the normal who hold G3 and other things, I don't know, but I'm told they were holding AK-47 or something of that sort. The two of them. Indeed, if they were not military people and they were just like me and you, Kwame, with the threat, they would have started shooting.
They would have killed them.
They would have killed a lot of people there. But these people were able to. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I've been saying only time I get this opportunity. Me in 1993, I was called to the military. Okay. Not to be frank with you, when we completed, I was into sports and I was all around. My sports master approached me, that a friend of his at Kamina Barracks, that they want me.
I see.
But I mean, those they come like I've been saying. Now I'm very cool, pal. Those are the way I was, and I thought that if I join, I may either die so early, or maybe today my name too will be spoiled. Maybe where I will have reached. So I advised my sisters put pressure on me. I said no, I'm not going, and the rest. To be frank with you, if I'm the one holding the gun and you are coming on me like this, and I know my life is listening, oh Kwame, I'll save my life. Because if I die, God Himself will not forgive me. No, to be frank with you, God Himself will not forgive me. That I saw danger coming, and I still allowed myself. No, to be frank, not I'll split them off, but whoever will be a threat to me, now I'll eliminate that person and wait for the next one.
Yeah.
Not to be frank with you, I will not waste my bullet. Thank you, sir. I will make sure that I'm creating space for myself.
Time is up.
No, but Kwame, having said that, on a more serious note, I think that what they call it, the people in the area, like you were saying, if they went there and then they attacked women, then I think that one it was wrong. Because women were not part of those who attacked them.
Yeah.
Although we know to some extent that sometimes women can even incite the men to go and do that thing. By the fact that you did not even find a single woman in that particular video, this thing, quite apart from that, even if you met them in the house, because now you're also doing investigation, is that not it? And you're also repeating what they did. You come and start beating the people when you have not even ascertained whether indeed he's part of those who did it or not. I don't think you should just subject them to beating.
Okay.
But you should get them and then take them to the appropriate courts and then make sure that the law deals with them. Okay. But if you do not do that and then say because of what they did to your your members, and for that matter, we are also going to subject them to beating. There could be somebody like me also living the community who didn't like what they did at all, who protested against it. But the fact that I am living there, I also suffer this kind of brutality.
All right.
But last but not the least, I don't want us to paint the picture to look like when Bernard was saying, like when the woman said something and then paused. That one, in fact, you are even putting more this into people to interpret it in a different listen. I don't think we are not in a war situation. I don't think in this particular regards with the way they went in and the rest. I mean, somebody will have time to do anything apart from maybe slapping a woman or beating her, anything otherwise to a woman in a room.
Okay.
I mean, how?
I don't think he suggested that.
No. That's what I meant. You're not getting me. This is language. That's what I said. He opened it up. Okay. It's an open statement, so everybody can interpret it the way they want.
All right. Okay.
So I'm trying to close that particular window. So everybody should think that that's what he means.
Very well. But he can also rule that one out. I mean,
no, it is.
We know war crimes and things that have happened.
That can never.
Good morning to you, Panelist TV. MPP came to Senegal and registered people to vote for them. These people in Ghana, these people are in Ghana now, as I speak to you. They do it in a town in Senegal called Elenke. Okay, you sent this one from Senegal is plus 220, right? Hey. Or this is Gambia. Gambia is plus 220. So that's what he's saying. Hi KOD, I'm not surprised the MPP and President Akufo-Addo are failing to campaign on corruption as they used to during the 2016 elections. There are countless number of corruption allegations against his administration. Thomas Sankara from Seshi Eluokrum This one also says, KOD, if you have a very senior journalist frequently using an absurd, infantile, bogus, etc. as a host does not reprimand him or her, as you have done today, what do you think will be happening? Che Yao from Brekum sent in this one. Well, I try to do what I can, under the circumstances. So please, and loss. Okay, wow, this is really very long. I cannot read it. The Apedra Impunyahine has the backing of the president. Have thought of the destruction of farms and building illegally by the Apedra Impunyahine. So if a uniform man misbehaves, you should look on. Should you look on? The army must not allow themselves to be used by politicians. Ni Amate sends this one in from Nkoko. Good morning to you, sir. Thanks for talking about the appalling accommodation for the military and police. God bless you, sir. We will do more than just that, because as for the accommodation problems in Ghana for our security services agencies is terribly bad, terrible. If a lion finds himself always in the marketplace, women and children would definitely see it as a dog. If in Ghana, as a sheep. Well, this one uses a dog, but as a sheep, yeah. In Ghana, we are all children, no elder. It is just a chance some people had because we are all learning how to dress, eat, speak, almost everything. Apart from one, I don't get the import of this particular message.
About the thing you said we should not do.
Yes.
Because if our elders
Is he coming from a home?
Yes.
Is he speaking from a home?
Good morning to you.
Elder in the home.
No,
Sorry,
I'm talking
respectfully.
about give me a problem.
Good morning to you. Oh, gentlemen, please let me read messages. It doesn't matter where he's from, but it doesn't matter. No, let's not. No, Sabo, hold on. Sabo, hold on. It's not
supporting this. But you don't see.
Can I read my messages, gentlemen? Please,
But we are the moderator. Somebody says that in Ghana there is no
that is
elder.
why but that's why when I read, I said I didn't get the import of what he said. That's what I said, and Bernard was trying to explain what he said. I wouldn't condone
The
that.
guy said that the elders of our town, those who
Good morning to you, KOD, and your panelists. I'm watching you live in Barcelona, Spain. Can I read my messages, please?
they must be responsible.
Bernard.
We have elders.
Oh, chairman.
What is this?
My chief. Sabo, why?
I know, but it's very bad. This is
Let me read my
It doesn't
messages.
matter who. No, an elder is an elder.
Yes, we have admitted. Thank you very much. Good morning to you, KOD.
because I'm a chief, I can be called, and Sabo will be allowed to rant.
Oh no, but stop
Why are
supporting
you patronizing
the wrong listen.
No, I'm
Let
not.
me give my.
You've not?
Yes, I've not.
Please,
Yeah.
proceed.
So, Kwame, I believe there's something brewing up in this country, which I'm yet to understand fully. Because it looks as if now the respect for the military has diminished. If you could recall, during the period of the lockdown, there was a claim circulating where a military man was trying to punish
And
a
he
young
was
man.
slapped by the young
he
man.
Punched the not slapped, he punched the young man, punched the military, and he has to run for his dear life. So there's something brewing up where people think that after all, they are nobody, they are just like us. In fact, it's a very dangerous grounds we are treading on. And I believe that they also have a way of, the military, they have also accounted for it in a way. Because come on, if people normally see the military on the streets, maybe me, if you are owing me and you are not paying, some people will go and take the military to come and chase you for their money. So when these things happen and the civilians get used to the military and they get used to the engagement of the military, it's a problem. It gets somewhere where they think that, oh, they are also just ordinary civilians. So moving forward, I believe the high command of the military should ensure that the military should not just be deployed for any activity, if not for emergency purposes. That somebody wants protection for the military easily, or he wants his land to be protected, and go to the high command for personnel to be deployed. I believe that these are things we should streamline. If somebody is owing you, doesn't mean you can go and bring the military to go and chase the person owing you. We have belittled the command force. And I believe that these are things the military high command should take note of.
Thank you very much. Ambassador Sampiale, I've missed you, sir. I've missed you. You see, if you don't look for your nephew, it's not good, though. Ambassador Sampiale.
My uncle.
Oh, your uncle. My uncle, too.
You mean my incorrect?
How can we complain of accommodation challenges for our military and security when we have thousands of completed accommodation built and left at Segleme and other places? This can only happen in Ghana.
Or even in Birmingham, some of the things are near completion and we just left them there.
Matter, Hi, Champion KD. I support the military because the killers of Major Mahama are still not found. So that was the response of their judgment. Have a good day from James in Kumasi. James is not joking this morning. Bernard Mona is a gem in Ghana and is much sought after in Africa. We, the people of Nadoli Kalio, must vote for him to push our collective agenda. Hashtag Mona for Nadoli Kalio 2020. Faisal Ibrahim Jang or Jang sent in. KOD, there is okay, I think I've read it. Kwame, KOD, you called someone a con artist and a murderer, which is worse. Nana is a con artist and JM as a who did that? I never called any of. I can't do that. Why would I do that? In fact, we have regretted voting against JM during the 2016 election, but for now, we have learned our lessons. We will indeed uproot Nana like cassava. This one also is from Edwin Tenge. Oh, I know he's from Takrade. Good morning to KO. The education is to equip the individuals with moral training. But what we see today in our educational system, what do we see today in our educational system? In fact, today we have school system and not educational system. Our leaders today do sit on TV and rain insult on their opponents. We, the grown-ups, are not educating the young ones well. And I couldn't agree with you more, and I couldn't agree with you less. KOD, that's what happened when your military and police have been politically manipulated. They will lose respect in society. This one says, it's from Louis G. He says, so who do we blame for all the things that are going on? The president is not, okay, it's not quite clear what you sent. Mohammed Masaoud says, Ayawasu West Wogomba election scenes has made the population not to believe and trust the security because this government has damaged their integrity by infiltrating party people and invisible forces into the service. Not all the security men in uniforms are real under Nana Akufo-Addo. Ebenezer Abokma says, wow, watching you live from Mali. Oh, mile 7. The best morning show in Ghana. I couldn't agree with you more, my brother. You know already. This is the best morning show in Ghana. Let me do a few more WhatsApp messages, and then I will run away from here. Good morning to Pan-African Television. I wish to make Chairman Mona a permanent guest on your show. In fact, the man is really good. Over this government has turned the military into land guards. Come to J. Kojo, BBF, and you will see them guarding private property. I am Akiola from Ashaiman Tabu Line. Please come and you will see it for yourselves. Wow. KOD, good morning. Tell my brother Bernard Mona that
they said there's a unit called Operation Calm Life. Sometimes when there are disputes on land, they are the ones that they send there.
Has it always been like that?
That's it. Oh yes, they do it.
Has it always been?
It's their official. Even within the police, they have something like that. But you see, sometimes they try to politicize everything. Why must anything has been there before Nana even became president?
Hold on. Absolutely. Why should we continue to do this?
No. You can our land sit here. Our land tenure system is terrible. You get the what they call
our land tenure system is terrible. That's what we should tackle.
That's a different thing that you are.
But you're talking about land litigation.
Yes, litigation. And I'm saying that with regards to land tenure system, it has been with us. With the
problems we need to change that.
Exactly. But I'm only saying that the Operation Calm Life that we are talking about.
They are coming live and they are going to beat people in their villages.
No, let me come. When they were attacked, those who were the Operation Calm Life were those who that they attacked. They went under Operation Calm Life.
Oh, 2 people.
So supposing by the coming like why you go give me? If the people are look at what happened to them, they will give them one shot. We are armed, so don't even do it.
Dollar.
What I'm saying. Dollar. You see that you are not coming to where I was talking about.
Dollar. I would have fed dollar. Good morning, KOD. Tell my brother Bernard Mona that I agree with his submission, but that cannot be applied to President Akufo-Addo's era of violence, where they go to the market and organize giant men to brutalize Ghanaians. Kindly let Bernard Mona stop that military takeover kind of thing. Laura constituency, Nasara coordinator sent in this one. Okay, yeah. Okay, and I think he also very much agrees with me. The way most of the Ghanaians were using... No, you didn't say anything about military takeover. I think that he's... Yeah, there was an example, but maybe he didn't understand that. Absolutely, the way most Ghanaians were using the word incompetence that was used by the vice president to describe the then president looks as if they never came across it anywhere before. Good morning, Kwame. Thank you very much for this powerful morning show. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Host, you are wasting your time thinking you can bring an end to political skullduggery on the airwaves. If you think you are going to sanitize your morning show, just remember that some viewers will see it as censoring their views. A word to the wise. Good morning. Baba Salifu from Ashalibuche. Baba Salifu, I don't care what you think, but the thing is that at some point, something must change. And if it means you stopping, if it means you failing to watch my morning show because I'm doing the right thing, then, I mean, really, we need to sanitize the political space. But Abana has to run away. Good morning to you, Sabo. What is Sabo saying? Tell Sabo to define incompetence to us. It goes on and on and on. Sam from Laboni sent in this one. And the messages are a lot. I want to say a big thank you to you, the viewers, for watching today's edition of Good Morning Africa show. My name remains Kwame Owusu Danso. So thank you very, very much to the national organizer-elect. The national... Oh, you've been sworn in? Yeah. Oh, then you are the national organizer of the CPP.
That's right.
Yirimambo Moses.
Functional national.
The functional national organizer.
The organizer of the duopoly of the NDC.
Yirimambo Moses, thank you very much. And to our former Greater Accra secretary. No. Of the MPP.
Our vanquished Greater.
And to our chairman and MP, incoming member of parliament for Nadolo Kalio, Bernard Mona, thank you very kindly for your time today. There's a final message I want to read here. Before, no, open it for me. I need to read this message before we run away from here.
For my MP, because it's like...
somebody needs your contact. It says, I admire Sabo's submission this morning. I need his contact. You want to give it out? Yes?
Oh, no, you can.
Please, give it out for us.
Kwame doesn't...
0244-864477.
0244-864477. That's Sabo's number. Good morning, Ben. It's been 3 months today. No salary for some teachers. After audit service even cleared some of us of any wrongdoing. Letters were written through the Director General of GES, but still no salary. Ben, not even a single person has been paid, and they made us produce all of our documents. And this is the state of affairs in Ghana. My name is Kwame Owusu Danso. So I want to encourage all of you to go on my personal Facebook page, which is Kwame Owusu Danso. I have asked a very basic question there. I've posted the picture of Nana Addo Akufo-Addo and former President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo and former President John Dramani Mahama, and I've asked a very simple question: who wins your vote in the upcoming December 7th elections? I'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend. Salute. Bye.
Just cute him. No, yeah.
Medasi.
They call you Gina. Jam rhythm. Yeah. Rockstar. DJ Camilla. Drop the song, make we dance. Oh, DJ Camilla. Drop the song, make we dance. Yeah. Where the party there today?